What's up, Instagram and YouTube? It's your boy Salty Redcorn, and I'm back with an ill-prepared knife comparison today, right? What am I comparing? Comparising? Hinderer XM24 sheep's foot and the Spyderco Tuff. All right, so let's talk a little bit about both. All right, let's talk about the Hinderer first. The Hinderer is in 20 CV, CPM 20 CV. It's a titanium frame lock, right? And it's a G10 show scale. Very nice hardware, very simple. I like the fact that it's a flathead here. It means you can adjust it probably in the field if you needed to. We have a lanyard hole, which seems pretty useful. The pocket clip is, while it's kind of basic, it's nice because it's captured here, which means that the scale is machined out and it fits in there nicely, so it won't be moving around on you at all. This knife is very, very thick. I'm not going to bust out the calipers because that's not what I do, but I'm going to do a side-by-side so you can see. This Hinderer has a sheep's foot blade design, which I liked the most out of all of them. It's very tough, it's very heavy, and I don't know, it's a pretty cool knife. Here's some of the disadvantages that I personally don't like about this knife. I hate the flipper tab. I absolutely do not like this flipper tab at all, one bit. It's awkward. Although it flips good, it hurts your finger. Oh, Salty Redcorn, why are you complaining about the flipper tab? Hurts your finger. If you spend $625 on a knife, you better like it, right? You better like everything about it, right? And I don't like the flipper tab. Doesn't fly with me, right? You can Spidey flick this knife. The thumb stud action, I'm not really feeling the thumb stud action on this knife, you know? The way that it's designed, it leads your hand to directly be in the path of the lock bar, so it's kind of hard. But Spidey flick isn't necessarily a problem. I assume that the flipper tab is really the way to go, okay? This one's running on bearings, although it's a tri-way. You could potentially swap it out to phosphor bronze and nylon if that's what you want to do. All right, so let's talk a little about Spyderco Tuff. Spyderco Tuff is also a titanium frame lock. It's also a beefy boy. In this case, CPM crew wear. It's made in Taichung. It's a design by Ed Shemp. Very, very cool pivot. Very cool black hardware. G10 backspacer. We have a stainless steel liner on the G10 side, and we have a full titanium lock bar side. So that's very cool. The pocket clip on this is also kind of lame, but it also has a lanyard hole, and this pocket clip isn't going anywhere. It's not going to slide around on you. It's not captured like the other one, but it's okay, right? Disadvantage of this knife. The disadvantage of this knife is that it's got a very short cutting edge compared to the Hinderer, and also in relation to the length of the handle, right? That doesn't necessarily matter for me, right? I'm not really too worried about having a long cutting edge. This knife is a overbuilt, hard-used knife, and I think that these kind of knives are essentially novelty, right? In my opinion, I don't see any reason to carry such an overbuilt knife. They actually aren't good for EDC in my opinion, right? They're thick behind the edge, they're heavy, they're big, right? Some of you guys might prefer something like that. I have pretty double XL hands, and I just don't prefer that, right? So that's my take on it, but I still think that they're cool knives, and I'm happy to add this Spyderco to my collection. I don't think I'm going to add a Hinderer to my collection simply based on the fact that I just don't like the flipper tab. I don't see how it grooves. I don't like it. It's not my thing, right? But I do think that the Hinderer is made of excellent quality, superb fit and finish. Very, very nice knife, right? Let's compare the two side by side so you can get a comparison. So obviously the Hinderer is a little bit bigger, and it's much, much thicker, right? It's very thick, and that shows in hand because it's very, very heavy as well. That's where I'm going to go ahead and give the Spyderco Tuff a point, right? That one has the advantage. This is a lighter, slimmer knife, and I actually like that, okay? The Hinderer has a lot of aftermarket support, though. You can buy custom scales. You can switch around the tri-way bearings to whatever kind of stuff you want in there. You can get cool scales. You can get different color hardware. So I'm going to give that advantage to the Hinderer, right? The Spyderco has great action. I prefer this kind of action with a blade of this size, simply because you're not going to hurt yourself, right? Oh, Smozzy Redcorn, you hurt yourself. Yeah, well, I hurt myself on a Spyderco Tatanka. My finger's deformed forever because it closed on my finger and cut some tendons. So it's not a joke. That's something that I take seriously, right? So the action on this is very, very smooth, and I prefer phosphor bronze washers. Just that's my personal opinion, right? I know I like my bearings too, but when it comes to an everyday carry knife or a hard use knife, I prefer washers. You're just not going to get that kind of gunk messing around in there, okay? The Hinderer is very good. It's got great ergos, right? The only thing is that flipper tab's digging into my knuckle again because it's kind of just weird. It's got an upsweep, which I think it should have went the other way, right? But hey, I didn't design it. Rick Hinderer did. He designed it for firefighters and first responders wearing a gloved hand, right? I understand that. So I could see that making a big difference. If you had a gloved hand, it probably wouldn't be so obtrusive. It's also a pocket pecker, like my boy Nick says. It's pecking stuff in your pocket, could break your phone. Something to think about, right? So let's put them next to each other and let you get a look at them side by side, okay? So yes, I'm a Spyderco fanboy. Yes, I've given the Hinderer a fair try. I still prefer the Spyderco because, like I said, it's a little bit slimmer. It's just a little bit lighter. And for me, it seems like an easier carry. Like I said, both of these knives, the fit and finish is very, very good. This is a Taichung Taiwan knife, and I think that they have some of the best quality exclusives in Spyderco knives in general coming out of their factory. I know that the Hinderer is made in USA, and so big points to that. You know, I really, really appreciate USA made stuff. I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of the men and women that served the country and died for it, right? So anything made in the USA is good for me because I like to support Americans, right? That doesn't mean that I exclusively buy USA made knives. Quality is quality, in my opinion, right? So another reason that I prefer the Spyderco over the Hinderer is the hole. You know, it's up to you, but that's my preferred method. I like it. It's comfortable for me. I like to slow roll knives. I like to middle flick knives. I like the thumb flick knives. And Spyderco gives me that option with the hole. I really like that. What else is cool? The fuller. If you want to do like some kind of quiet open, you know, this fuller, you could grab it anywhere and just kind of push it open. It works great. I love that. I also like the downward angle of the blade. If you want to choke back on it and do some chopping, which you're gonna, if you were gonna hard use this knife, you'd be doing some chopping, right? You know, whether you're chopping up your sandwich or you're chopping up wood, whatever it is, all right? So, Salty Redcorn personally gonna pick the Spyderco over the Hinderer. And that's just my 2 cents. But both of these knives are really worth checking out. The Hinderer especially, you know. For a long time I poo-pooed Hinderer, and it's because I never really tried one. There's a lot of hype involved around them, and I don't necessarily always feed into a hype situation, right? But for good reason. This is a really good knife. I don't want you guys to think that I'm putting it down just because I picked the Spyderco over this one. This is an amazing, amazing knife. Beautiful construction, high quality, made in USA. Definitely go check out Hinderer. They could be hard to find, but if you're into this kind of thing, I'm sure you know where to look, right? This Spyderco Tuff, on the other hand, is a DLT trading exclusive, and they may still be available. Go check out DLT Trading. They're one of my favorite distributors. But other than that, this knife was discontinued a while ago, from what I understand. I think this knife came out probably 8 years ago, 6 to 8 years ago. And, you know, they're just not making them anymore. So if you want to pick one of these up, you might have to look on eBay or go hit up DLT Trading. That's going to be it for now, guys. If you like this kind of thing, smash the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Hit the like button, share, whatever you want to do, man. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Salty red corn out.